Okay, so this morning we're out at my local lake. We are going to go do something that's a little bit different. This is where lake knowledge and kind of the patterning on the lake really helps out locals. The fish this lake a bunch. It's got a good amount of fish in it. It's got some good big fish in it. I've missed two that I know were giants. One I guarantee was over 10 pounds. But the fish right now are in pre-spawn mode, and they're grouping up, especially the males. The males and even the females are in schools right now. And a lot of people come out here and they're trying to pitch the reeds and stuff and fish what they can see. This lake is a great practice lake for just about anything. And right now, that pre-spawn mode, fish are all grouped up, and they're all over the place. There's hydrilla all over this lake underneath the water, and they are just scattered everywhere. But what makes fishing right now super exciting is that the fish are in these giant schools, and you'll just start seeing busting everywhere, and they will bust, from like 8 a.m. on a good day, 8 a.m. till like 2 in the afternoon, and they'll probably die off by 2 or 3. But that's a long time, and it'll take 20, 30 minutes, but they're pushing shad around. And a lot of people don't realize that that's what the fish are doing, so they come out here and they're trying to fish the shoreline and things like that, and the fish are nowhere near them. They're all out in the middle pushing around. They're all grouped up. There's a couple places where they'll kind of hold up and be in the grass waiting for that passing school of shad or shiners or whatever before they start chasing them. And I found one of the spots over here. So we're going to go over here. We're going to hit this spot first. And what we're going to do is pay attention to two things. We're going to watch the cormorant. The cormorant in big groups right now, and they like eating bass. And then we're also going to watch these terns. There's one up there flying. I don't know if you can see it. It's these little white terns. Once they get into groups of 3 or 4 and they start dive bombing, that's where the bait fish are at, which is a technique that you would use if you're saltwater fishing. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Seems kind of crazy, but it's an awesome time when it works. Yesterday it came out and I caught, probably a dozen fish. A couple last week when they were doing this. I was in the school. I was inside of the mega school. One school has bass in it that are probably 3, 5, 6 plus pounds, and those are the females. But the majority of the schools are going to be these males, these spawner types. Some of them are going to be big, where the fish are around 2, 3 pounds apiece, and the rest of them are going to be kind of tiny, where all the fish are, in that 12 to 15 inch range. But the terns just got out; they're starting to move. The cormorant, we're still back where we launched from. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hold up in this spot. This spot got scraped. And so it's hard on each side, and then there's some hydrilla kind of floating around in the middle. So we're going to get up in this spot. I'm going to kind of park myself just on the outside, cast with the wind, because I'm going to be casting a weightless fluke. They really the bass are really looking for bait fish. They're not really looking for worms or anything right now. Dragging is not the best technique. I'll still do it every now and then just to make sure, and check out the thick grass and stuff. But right now the bass want something that's a little bit more bait fish-like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this weightless fluke here. I was catching them here yesterday. Pretty sure the spot's going to reload. And I've got you guys set up so you can see me casting into the wind. We're just going to cast back there. We'll let it sink down, because the bass back here are typically down in the grass, and they will come up out of it to get this fluke. Well, yesterday I watched them come up to the yak and actually grab it. I'm interested to see what's going to happen today. It's a little bit breezier. It's a little bit cooler. And we had sun yesterday. We got cloud cover moving in. I think we had some rain just pass through a little while ago. But you'll see me scanning around because I'm watching cormorant. If you see cormorant take off and then land somewhere in the middle of the lake, they're typically pushing fish down. There's 3 terns over there right now, circling an area, so there might be some schooling activity over there. It had a first bite right there, right at the yak. We'll do this again. I don't think he got the hook. Oh, grabbed it right there. They're being real. They'll chase it in, but they'll follow it. They almost want it to be on the ground when they're grabbing it. And a lot of times the fish we're doing what's called greedy grabbing, right? So they're schooled up in here, and I know there's fish in this hydrilla here. 2 bites, 2 casts. What they're doing is because they're competing, they're just grabbing as fast as they can and trying to move on to the next piece of food. So they're not necessarily getting the bait in their mouth the entire time, which kind of makes this type of fishing a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit easier to do with I don't know, it's a little bit easier to do with like a crankbait or something. But what they're doing is they're grabbing it, and as soon as they feel tension, they're letting it go. They're not even like really holding it completely in their mouth or even swallowing it like they normally would. They're grabbing it and trying to get away from other fish, and then eat it, and then come back for more. And when they start schooling, it also gets a little bit more difficult. Like you have to set the hook right away. Because what they'll end up doing is they'll end up grabbing it and spitting it almost immediately because they're trying to get there's one. They're trying to get more food. Greedy grabbing. Alright, so there's one. Alright. It's your typical pre-spawner male right here. Let's get him up here. As you can see, he's not super fat right now. He's got a little bit of a belly to him, but he's nice and healthy. And he's just piled up in here with all these other males fighting for food. So all I'm throwing right now is a weightless Zoom fluke. It's in a shag color. I like to throw a white just to get more visibility out of it. This is a little bit more of a natural, realistic color. And they're eating it. I have one that's more in a kind of like a glittery shimmer pattern. They're not as interested as that. So it's 3 hits, 1 fish. That one actually grabbed and held on to it. It's a little bit more difficult this time of year on this specific lake to find bigger fish. I know they're here, but it's a little bit more difficult just because the females are kind of grouped up somewhere else. Usually it's much further offshore. It's not, but every now and then you'll run into one that's up here with them. It's another typical little pre-spawner male. So again, this is the shad colors. Got a gray with a kind of silver belly. Making a bomb cast back there. They're sitting in about 3 or 4 foot of water. One of the other kind of fun techniques is fishing with a hard jerkbait this time of the year, especially when they're schooling. There's one right there. Feels like a decent one. He could be just caught up in grass though. Try to keep him down. That's not bad. He's hooked through the side, but it's one of the better ones for right now. Alright, we were able to get him unhooked. That's one of the better ones for the day. It's still male. Not huge, but I'll take that. I'm running 17 fluoro on this. I'll probably end up changing it. 17 mono, sorry. 17 pound mono. I'll end up changing it. This is a H2O Express shallow diving jerkbait. I think it's 3 to 5 feet, but it's that white kind of shad pattern and works out pretty well. Now I did change out the hooks on this. The stock hooks kind of got dull. I replaced it with some new ones. Apparently I was talking to the camera the whole time. The camera's been off. Just caught a fish on the jerkbait right there. Showed it to the camera. Camera's off. But he grabbed it right at the boat. Really cool. I could see it because I got glasses on, but you guys probably couldn't. I doubt you can see it, but the turns are over there. There are two more over here. There's 3 over there, 2 over here. That one just hit surface over there, but they're not circling, so most likely just a a one-off. Saw some bait fish and dove on it. I haven't seen any busts yet. So I like to work the jerkbait one of two ways, and everybody's different. In the schools and stuff, if I'm thrown into a school, or if I know the fish are chasing really hard, I'll work it really violently. 3 big swings, followed by maybe 2. Try to change it up. Another 3. Gets the rattles working a little bit harder. Makes the bait look like it's moving a lot more violently. But if I want a more subtle presentation, it's just 1 or 2, or just 1. Really slow it down. These guys seem to, right now, at least the ones in the school right here that's below me, really seem to like it when it's a little bit slower and it's paused. Like they hit half of the bites that I've had today, or half the catches, the fish got real close to the boat before they actually struck it. Like they followed it the whole way in. They're not afraid. The one I caught off camera literally hit it right before I was about to take it out of the water. So, even sometimes, even though I'm casting out into deeper water here, those fish are looking up, and sometimes they just don't want that hard jerkbait. They want the fluke. Yep, right there. There's one. Not very big. About as big as the jerkbait. So when the fish are acting this way, piece of advice that I want to give you guys, that should help you catch more fish, is I know it's really tempting to, I've got the bait right in front of the boat, I'm going to reel in, because it's close, it's within 10 yards, I'm going to reel in, I'm going to make another cast. The longer you keep the bait in the water, especially when the fish are acting like this, the more chances you have of actually catching the fish. So most of my catches today are like right here at the kayak. Right now the bait is right where I'd pull it out of the water, and that dude literally hit it at the same length. So if my bait's not in the water, I don't catch him. No, he's not a dink, but I've had big fish come up and smack the bait at the last second. So don't think that just because you've wound the whole way in and your line's like right here, that you have to burn it in and make another cast. Work it up to the boat. What's the worst thing that happens? Something else comes up and pops it? Alright, so we're getting a little bit more turn activity over here to my left. I know that they'll sometimes school up over there, but repositioned on where the school is at. I can get back there just a little bit deeper. That's a big fish. I gotta get this one in the net, dude. Came up last second, hit it. Yes! Oh man, keep the line in the water, man. Keep the line in the water. This is why you keep the line in the water. I watched him come up and eat it last second, right before I pulled it out of the water. All right. Beautiful fish. All right, big girl. Thank you. So kind of keep in mind, the reason I kind of live by that philosophy, keep the line on the water as long as possible. One, because of that, but two, even if you're competing in a kayak tournament, if you think about watching some of your favorite pros and stuff, fishing boat tournaments, how they'll wind in fast, or when the bait gets closer or whatever. I've had this discussion that these guys, in boats can move around so much more than we can in kayaks. So if they're not fishing for fish that aren't going to hit right away. They're fishing for those fish that are going to hit. They're not going to take time to work them. They need to find fish. They need to get on fish quick. There's a lot more at stake in those boat tourneys. When we're fishing kayak tournaments and stuff, we can't move around that much. Granted, you know, my motor has given me a range of about 15 to 20 miles now that I previously didn't have, but to be honest, I still have to kind of pick apart a spot. You know, that's why kayak fishing is so much different than boat fishing. So I need to get those late chance hits. I need to get those fish that are a little bit more finicky. I'm not just pulling through an area and zooming and getting the fish, you know, 2 or 3 that are going to hit no matter what. I need to pick a place, you know, clean apart, because I can't travel 30, 40, 50 miles in just 7 hours to get the fish that I need. I max range 20. Most of the time I'm going 10 to 15. And most of that I'm not even fishing. Most of that's just travel time. Oh, it's caught me with my pants down. That's a little guy. Burn him in. Complete opposite of the size spectrum. But he hung on to it, so. About 1 million phone messages I had to go through. I'm really watching the turns right now. The water's just choppy enough. And I like it when it's choppy like this. Especially out here. It fishes really well when it's like this. See the turns right here? They're on some bait fish. They're over top of them. Bait fish disappeared. This guy keeps circling back around, so we're gonna hit this area with a fluke. Looks like we have a front coming in. Still watching the turns. The turns are still trying to locate bait fish too. Looks like we have a front coming in. We might get rained on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's rain over there. If we get lucky and we'll just catch this end here and this will skirt us on our right. Well, let's make a run back towards the ramp. I don't want to be out in the middle because I'm pretty sure that's gonna get close to hitting us. I don't want to be in it. I don't see any rain, just clouds. But again, I don't want to take that chance. Wait till this little front kind of passes through. Still haven't seen any fish schooling today. I was hoping to get some of that stuff on camera for you guys, but that is what it is. Here's one. It's not big, that little guy. There it is. All right, finally. Oh, there's the rain. All right, it's starting to rain. There's more coming. And I don't want to be out here because it's cold, it's windy. Yeah, I wanted to get some schooling fish on video, but it never happened, so we'll maybe try again tomorrow. We'll see. When it does happen, it's really cool, and it's, you know, something I wanted to capture. But we found some fish piled up. There's fish school over there. They're just not, you know, popping on the surface like I was hoping they would be. So let's get out of here before it gets too too wet and cold. Obviously, I'm not dressed for it, and I really don't want to be out here for not, tournament fishing or anything like that. So we'll call it just a good day. We made a good 2 hours out of it. So, all right, guys, stay safe out there. I'll catch you in the next one.